Hey scholars, welcome to our first lecture of AP Environmental Science. Feel free anytime that you wish to pause, rewind, fast forward at all throughout this video and throughout the rest of the videos that we do. If you take notes slower, that's totally fine. That's what it's here for. So definitely pause to write whatever down you need. We're going to be kind of moving fast though. I'm going to keep going through all this stuff. So like I said, feel free to pause anytime. So hopefully you guys either have or you will be exploring the case study on living in the exponential age. Again, the reason why we cover this topic first is that the number one problem that humans have on the environment and the root cause of it is population growth. And it refers to human exponential growth and how that relates to animal and plant species loss and also loss of renewable and non-renewable resources. And all of those things have a major effect on the planet, which is why that was our major topic. Hopefully you did see the gist of it all. You know, we obviously took a long time to grow as a population. Then once we did, though, we got past the Industrial Revolution, it was just up, up, and up from there on out. So we're going to take a look at the first section of this chapter 1, which is what does an environmentally sustainable society look like? And that's what we're going to analyze today. First of all, we're going to look at the entire kind of overview of this book and also this class, and it's a study of how nature is connected with everything. Everything is interconnected, some way, shape, or form, which is a good thing, but also can be very, very trying as a person trying to fix a problem. So, in interdisciplinary science, connecting information ideas is from natural sciences all the way to social sciences. And also on humanities, all those interconnected interdisciplines are connected to form AP Environmental Science, or at least environmental science. So we're going to ask some questions like how nature works, how is the environment, how does it actually affect us, how do we affect the environment, how do we deal with environmental problems that we're causing that are actually happening, and how can we live more sustainably. That's really the main goal of this textbook and to learn that. So let's take a look at some of the fields related to environmental science. We've seen biology, those are the major fields, chemistry, earth science, social sciences, humanities. All those kind of are interrelated. Then you have these extra ones like the subfields like ecology, botany, study of plants, zoology, study of animals, biochemistry, looking at the chemistry of living things, climatology, geology, paleontology, and the list just goes on and on. So those are a few of the things that are going to be talked about in environmental science this semester. And it's just a different graphical way of looking at all the different disciplines kind of making up the environmental science or our globe. So the central theme of the book is based on this thing called natural capital. And natural capital is our resources. Basically, that's what we assigned a special term for resources. It's supported by solar capital, which you can obviously conclude is the sun, energy from the sun brought down to actually provide natural resources for us. And so there are natural resources that are renewable, non-renewable. There's also natural services like nutrient cycling, which a lot of us rely on even though you don't really know it. Degradation of this natural capital through human activities is kind of the main theme and how it can be a depressing class. Hopefully it's not for you, but it definitely can open your eyes to some things. And also some scientific solutions, and a lot of those require political involvement and trying to get everyone to buy into the solution. So those are kind of what the main theme of the books are, is what are we doing to the environment, how can we kind of fix it or somewhat cure it, and also what are we using and utilizing as human beings on this earth. So this is just a look at natural capital. Obviously there's solar capital, which is the sun. You have things that are natural resources like air, water, minerals, iron, sand, oil, natural gas, coal, soil, land, life itself, non-renewable energy. All those things are resources, though we also have the services provided as well, like climate control because of the greenhouse effect, air purification, water purification, just through filtering through the soil, soil renewal, food production, nutrient cycling, pest control. All those things are natural services provided by nature that we can utilize in thriving here on planet Earth. So those are a couple of things there. Nutrient cycling is, we'll go over this really, really in depth. This is one that a lot of you always struggle with, so we'll definitely cover this in depth this semester. But obviously just having organic molecules inside of us, after we die, we return those nutrients to the soil, those organic molecules to the soil, the plants can use that. Decomposition occurs, that goes into organic matter in the soil, and the organic matter is taken by plants and turned into organic tissue again into animals. So all that's like the circle of life. You've heard that before. That's nutrient cycling. We'll talk about what specific nutrients and how they cycled a little bit later. Environmentally sustainable societies protect natural capital and just live off the income. When we talk about living off the natural income, is not really using it to where it's not going to replenish itself. Just live off of what it is and not replenish, and don't live off of too much, or it can't replenish itself. Human activities and its effect on the Earth's natural capital is what we'll also just be discussing on how those things have been negatively impacted the natural income or natural capital. And that's going to be our theme. So we're gonna move onward to section 1-2 since it's really, really short, and it's all about the economy and how can the environmentally sustainable societies grow economically. So we got to think about a couple terms, and obviously there's a wide economic gap, which is probably my biggest issue with environmental science, is that we have very, very rich countries, and we have very, very poor countries, and you can see the difference in those by a couple of these terms that I definitely want you to know for an upcoming quiz as well as long term. But one of those is a country's economic growth is measured by its gross domestic product. Maybe you've heard this before if you took civics or U.S. Or world history. I'm not sure if it's probably more civics. But GDP, gross domestic product. It's the annual market value of all the goods and services produced by all firms and organizations within that single country. And it's just kind of the worth of the country overall. Changes in that economic growth are measured by what we call per capita gross domestic product, or GDP, and that's just taking that GDP, dividing it by the total population of a country, and you get kind of the change in economic growth. And probably the biggest one that we can really see where countries stack up against each other is what we call purchasing power parity plus GDP, and those are combined for what we call per capita GDP PPP. It's a tongue twister, but it's basically this: a measure of the goods and services that the country's average citizen, the total typical average Joe, could buy in that specific country. So you can see, obviously, the average person in this country, probably could afford a nice new pair of shoes, clothes on their back, a decent meal, whereas the average person, in a country of a third world nation maybe just has enough clothes to cover them, and maybe a pair of shoes, if not some worn and tattered shoes, things like that. You can see where those stacks up individually based on that per capita GDP PPP. And so, let's take a look at a comparison. This is just interesting. This is just based off of percentages, but this is in 2008, a few years back. But it shows I want you to take a look at this and really think about, pause the PowerPoint or whatever, the presentation, and really look at these numbers and see where the eye openers really are. Go ahead and take a pause right now. So welcome back. One of the things that I really stood out to me is the population versus the resource use. So if you look at population, the red is the developed nations such as the United States, Germany, most of Europe, the European Union, 18% of the population. But look how many resources we use. 88% of the world's resources is used by only 18% of the population. Whereas the population in developing nations, 82%, only gets 12% of the resource use. So you can see the imbalance of power between poverty and wealth. And so that's really where a lot of our ecological as well as economic problems come from, is because of those two things. So there's extreme poverty in developed countries. We're going to get to that all throughout this semester. That's one thing I want to talk about. All right, that's where we're going to pause for today. We'll see you guys next session when we look at how our ecological footprints are affecting the Earth overall. See you guys next time.